You have probably spent money on pesticides season after season, spraying, mixing, repeating only to watch the same aphids return, the same beetles show up again, and the same mosquitoes gather around your garden like nothing ever changed. But here is what most gardeners are never told. Some plants do more than simply look beautiful. They release natural compounds that confuse, repel, and interrupt the pests trying to invade your garden. Today, we are looking at 5 powerful perennial plants that can help your garden defend itself year after year without constant spraying, without repeated chemical purchases, and without turning your backyard into a battlefield. And the best part, these are not rare, expensive, impossible-to-find plants. Some of them are common herbs. Some are flowers many people already recognize. But when you understand where to plant them, how they work, and which pests they target, they become one of the smartest pest control tools you can grow. Most gardening advice tells you what to plant. Root Garden Wisdom shows you why it works. Plant number 1, lavender. Most gardeners recognize lavender immediately. You see it in flower borders, herb gardens, soaps, candles, bath oils, and even kitchen recipes. But what many people do not understand is that lavender is not just a pretty fragrant plant. In the garden, it can work like a living pest barrier. The secret is inside the tiny glandular hairs that cover the leaves, stems, and flowers. These structures release aromatic compounds, especially linalool and linalool acetate. To humans, that scent feels calming, clean, and pleasant, but to many pests, it is overwhelming. Moths, fleas, flies, mosquitoes, and even silverfish rely heavily on scent to navigate. When they move through the air, they are not simply flying randomly. They are following chemical signals. Lavender interferes with that process. Its fragrance can confuse their ability to locate host plants, feeding areas, and resting spots. Instead of landing near your vegetables, flowers, or outdoor seating area, many of those pests turn away before they ever reach the target. But here is the important part. Most gardeners miss one lavender plant is not enough. One plant may look beautiful, but it only creates a small scent point. If you want lavender to become real protection plant, it in groups. 3 lavender plants spaced about 18 inches apart can create a much stronger aromatic zone. That zone acts more like a wall than a single fragrance source. The goal is not decoration. The goal is coverage. Lavender grows best in USDA zones 5 through 9. If you live in a colder zone, especially zone 4, plant it near a south-facing wall where it can receive extra warmth and protect the base with mulch before winter. In very hot areas such as zones 10 and 11, lavender can still grow, but it often performs better with afternoon shade during the hottest months. The 2 things lavender needs most are full sun and excellent drainage. Give it at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Do not plant it in wet, heavy soil. Lavender hates sitting in moisture. If the roots stay too wet, the crown can rot before you even realize the plant is in trouble. If your soil is heavy clay, improve drainage with coarse material or use a raised bed. Plant lavender along garden borders beside roses near vegetable beds, close to doorways, or around patios where mosquitoes tend to gather in the evening. And here is one final tip. Do not cut lavender all the way down in autumn. Leave about 1/3 of the green growth standing. That remaining growth helps protect the crown through winter and gives the plant a stronger start in spring. Lavender gives you pest control pollinator support, edible flowers, dried stems for indoor use, and a beautiful fragrance from the same plant. That is why it earns its place as one of the most valuable perennials in a smart garden. Plant number 2, catmint. Yes, catmint is related to catnip. And yes, if you have cats, they may be very interested in it. But for the garden, catmint is much more than a plant that makes cats excited. It is one of the most useful perennial pest-repelling plants you can grow. The power of catmint comes from a natural compound called nepetalactone. This is the same aromatic compound that gives catmint its strong scent. To people, it smells fresh, herbal, and slightly minty. But to many insects, it sends a completely different message. Mosquitoes, aphids, Japanese beetles, flea beetles, squash bugs, and weevils all tend to avoid areas where catmint is growing strongly. The reason is that nepetalactone can interfere with the way insects interpret chemical signals in the air. Instead of moving confidently toward your plants, they become confused or discouraged and often leave the area. That is what makes catmint so valuable. It does not only protect itself. When planted correctly, it can help create a protective zone around the nearby crops. Catmint grows well in USDA zones 3 through 8, which makes it one of the hardiest plants in this entire system. It can handle cold winters, poor conditions, and dry spells once established. If you live in a northern climate where many herbs struggle, catmint is often one of the easiest choices. Planted in full sun to light shade in average or slightly dry soil. Avoid overly wet ground. Space plants around 18 to 24 inches apart. Once mature catmint forms a soft, rounded mound, usually covered with lavender blue flowers from late spring into early fall. Now here is the golden tip cut catmint back by about half after the first big bloom. Many gardeners skip this step, and because of that, they never get the full benefit of the plant. After the first flowers fade in early summer trim the plant back. Within a few weeks, it will push out fresh new growth and often bloom again. That young aromatic foliage is especially powerful because it carries a stronger fresh scent and releases more of the compounds that pests dislike. This simple cut can turn catmint from a pretty border plant into a much stronger pest control tool. Use catmint along the edges of vegetable beds, especially near squash pumpkins, cucumbers, and areas where beetles or aphids are a repeated problem. It also works beautifully along pathways. When you brush against the leaves as you walk by, the plant releases more scent into the air, helping spread its natural protection through the garden. One practical warning: if you have outdoor cats, protect young catmint plants until they are established. A cat rolling on a small transplant can crush it before it has time to grow strong. A simple wire cover or small protective cage can save the plant during its early stage. Once established, catmint is low-maintenance, drought-tolerant, beautiful, and useful. It brings flowers for pollinators, fragrance for the garden, and natural pest pressure against some of the most annoying insects gardeners deal with every season. Plant number 3, yarrow. Yarrow is one of those plants that many gardeners underestimate because it looks delicate. Its leaves are soft and feathery, its flowers appear in flat clusters, and from a distance it may seem like just another cottage garden flower. But in reality, yarrow is one of the most strategic plants you can grow if you want your garden to fight pests naturally. What makes yarrow special is that it works in 2 different ways at the same time. First, its foliage releases aromatic compounds such as camphor and borneol. These natural compounds move into the air around the plant and create a scent environment that many pests dislike, especially aphids. Aphids may look small, but they can multiply incredibly fast. Once they settle on tender new growth, they can weaken plants, distort leaves, and attract even more problems. Yarrow helps make the surrounding area less attractive to them. But that is only half of the story. The real power of yarrow comes from its flowers. Those flat-topped flower clusters act like landing pads for beneficial insects, including hoverflies, lacewings, and parasitic wasps. These are not pests. These are the insects you want in your garden. Hoverfly larvae feed on aphids. Lacewing larvae are even more aggressive predators. Parasitic wasps help control caterpillars and other soft-bodied pests. In other words, yarrow does not simply push bad insects away. It also invites the good insects in and gives them a reason to stay. That is why yarrow is so valuable. Lavender and catmint are excellent repellents, but yarrow adds something different: biological backup. Yarrow grows well in USDA zones 3 through 9, which makes it suitable for a wide range of climates. It tolerates heat, cold, drought, poor soil, and neglect better than many garden plants. For beginner gardeners, this is one of the most forgiving perennials you can choose. And here is the surprising part: do not pamper it too much. Yarrow actually performs better in poor to average soil. If you plant it in soil that is too rich or give it too much fertilizer, it can become tall, floppy, and weaker in scent. Less scent means less aromatic power, so instead of treating yarrow like a hungry vegetable crop, let it grow a little lean. That mild stress often makes it stronger, sturdier, and more useful as a pest control plant. Plant yarrow in full sun with well-drained soil. Space plants about 1 to 2 feet apart. It can spread slowly through underground rhizomes, so place it where you are comfortable letting it expand or divide it every few years to keep it under control. The best locations are the corners of vegetable beds, the edges of growing areas, and pathways between garden sections. That placement helps draw beneficial insects deeper into the garden instead of keeping them only around the borders. White and yellow varieties are especially good for attracting beneficial insects, but pink and red varieties still offer beauty, fragrance, and pest-repelling value. Yarrow also gives you another bonus. The flowers dry beautifully for arrangements, and the plant has a long history of traditional medicinal use. But even if you only grow it for garden defense, it earns its place. It repels pests, attracts predators, survives tough conditions, and keeps working year after year. Plant number 4, lemon balm. If you have ever crushed a lemon balm leaf between your fingers, you already know why this plant feels different. The scent is bright, fresh, sweet, and almost like lemon candy. But that pleasant fragrance is not just there for us to enjoy. In the garden, it has a real defensive purpose. Lemon balm contains a natural aromatic compound called citronellol. This is one of the same scent-related compounds associated with citronella products that people often use outdoors to help keep mosquitoes away. The difference is simple. A candle burns out, but lemon balm keeps growing. When the sun warms the leaves, when wind moves through the plant, or when you brush against it while walking through the garden, lemon balm releases that lemony fragrance into the air. Mosquitoes, gnats, aphids, and squash bugs tend to avoid that scent zone. So instead of working for one evening like a temporary spray or candle, lemon balm can keep producing aromatic protection throughout the growing season. But lemon balm has another powerful use that many gardeners never hear about: ants. Ants do not move randomly. They follow chemical trails almost like invisible roads. These pheromone trails help the colony find food, organize movement, and communicate across long distances. When you see a line of ants moving in one direction, they are following a chemical message left behind by other ants. Lemon balm can interfere with those scent trails. That means it does not just push ants away from one leaf or one stem. It can disrupt the communication system they use to organize themselves. Planting lemon balm near ant entry points, garden edges, raised beds, or patio cracks can make those areas much less attractive and much harder for ants to navigate. Lemon balm grows well in USDA zones 4 through 9, and it is especially vigorous in zones 6 through 9. One of its biggest advantages is that it tolerates partial shade better than many other pest-repelling herbs. That makes it useful in garden corners where lavender or rosemary might struggle. Planted in partial sun to full sun with moist but well-drained soil, space plants about 18 to 24 inches apart. But here is the management tip you cannot ignore. Do not let lemon balm go to seed freely. Lemon balm can spread aggressively if you allow the flowers to mature and drop seed. To control it, cut off the flower heads before they turn into seed. This process is called deadheading. It keeps the plant from spreading everywhere, and it also redirects energy back into leaf production. That matters because the leaves are where the pest-repelling power lives. More leaves means more fragrance. More fragrance means a stronger scent barrier. Use lemon balm near doorways beside outdoor seating areas around patios close to squash plants, or in containers where you want mosquito protection without letting the plant spread into the whole garden. And the bonus is excellent fresh lemon balm leaves can be used for tea, and the plant has a long history as a calming medicinal herb. So, while it helps protect your garden from pests, it also gives you something useful for your kitchen and your evening routine. Lemon balm is easy to grow, easy to harvest, and powerful when placed correctly. Just remember, grow it with a purpose and manage the flowers before they manage your garden for you. Plant number 5, chives. Most people think of chives as a kitchen herb. They imagine chopping the green stems over baked potatoes, egg soups, or salads. But in the garden, chives are much more than a garnish. They are one of the easiest perennial pest control plants you can grow, and they protect your garden in a way that is very different from lavender, catmint, yarrow, or lemon balm. Chives belong to the allium family, the same plant family as garlic, onions, leeks, and shallots. Plants in this family produce strong sulfur-based compounds. These compounds are part of the reason onions and garlic have such a powerful smell. In chives, those natural sulfur compounds are released through the leaves above the soil and through the roots below the soil. That is what makes chives so valuable. Above ground, the scent can help repel aphids, mites, and Japanese beetles. These pests use scent signals to locate tender leaves, flowers, and new growth. When chives are planted nearby, their sharp allium chemistry can make the area less attractive and more confusing for those insects. This is especially useful around roses. Japanese beetles often attack rose leaves and flowers, leaving behind ugly skeletonized damage. But when chives are planted near roses, many gardeners notice less beetle pressure over time. The plant does not create an invisible magic shield, but it does add a real layer of natural defense. Below the soil chives become even more interesting. Their root zone can help discourage certain soil pests, including carrot root flies, onion flies, and some nematodes. Nematodes are tiny soil-dwelling pests that attack roots. The problem is that you usually do not see them directly. From above, the plant may simply look weak, yellow, stunted, or hungry. Many gardeners think they have a fertilizer problem when the real damage is happening underground. Chives help protect that hidden root zone. They grow well in USDA zones 3 through 9, which makes them reliable in many climates. They are often among the first herbs to appear in spring and one of the last to fade in autumn. Once established, they come back year after year with very little effort. Plant chives in full sun to light shade in average well-drained soil. Space them about 6 to 12 inches apart. They grow in neat, upright clumps, usually around 12 inches tall, and their purple globe-shaped flowers are not only beautiful, but also edible. Use chives as a border around carrot beds, rose beds, and root vegetable areas. You can also tuck them between vegetable rows or grow them in containers near young fruit trees, where aphids often gather on soft spring growth. When harvesting, cut the leaves down to about 2 inches above the soil. They will regrow quickly, often thicker than before. Chives give you food flowers, pollinator support, above-ground pest pressure, and underground root zone protection from one simple perennial plant. That is exactly the kind of plant a smart, self-defending garden needs. Now here is the part that brings everything together. Each of these 5 plants can help your garden on its own. Lavender confuses flying pests with its strong aromatic oils. Catmint creates a powerful scent zone that mosquitoes, aphids, beetles, and squash bugs do not like. Yarrow attracts beneficial insects that hunt pests for you. Lemon balm helps push back mosquitoes, gnats, aphids, squash bugs, and even disrupts the scent trails ants use to move as a colony. And chives protect both above the soil and below it with their natural sulfur compounds. But the real power comes when you stop thinking of them as separate plants and start using them as a system. Plant lavender near pathways, patios, roses, and sunny garden borders where flying pests often gather. Use catmint along the edges of vegetable beds, especially near squash cucumbers, pumpkins, and other crops that attract beetles and aphids. Place yarrow at the corners of your garden bed so it can pull beneficial insects deeper into the growing area. Grow lemon balm near doorways, seating areas, and entry points, or in containers where you want mosquito protection without letting it spread too far. Then run chives as a living border around carrots, roses, root vegetables, and young fruit trees. That gives your garden 5 different layers of natural defense. One layer works through fragrance. One layer confuses insects. One layer brings in predator insects. One layer disrupts ant movement. One layer protects the root zone underground. That is the difference between reacting to pests and designing a garden that is harder for pests to attack in the first place. And remember, these are perennials. You do not have to replant them every season. Once established, they come back year after year, larger, stronger, and more useful than before. Every season, the system becomes more mature. Every season, your garden becomes more self-sufficient. If you want one simple place to start this weekend, choose Yarrow. It is affordable, tough, easy to grow, and it begins attracting beneficial insects as soon as it flowers. If mosquitoes are your biggest problem, start with lavender catmint or lemon balm. If root crops and roses are your concern, start with chives. The point is not to do everything perfectly on day one. The point is to begin building a garden that works with nature instead of fighting against it every single week. So, now I want to ask you, which of these 5 plants would you plant first? Lavender, catmint, yarrow, lemon balm, or chives, and which pest has been causing the biggest problem in your garden this season? Write your answer in the comments because your experience may help another gardener watching this right now. And if this gave you something practical, you can actually use subscribe to Root Garden Wisdom. Every week, we bring you clear, researched, useful gardening knowledge that helps you grow smarter, waste less money, and build a garden that can defend itself naturally.